Okay, I want to try to come to you from Bangkok, Thailand, obviously, and give a scathing account of Vinny, the Irish hacker who's trying to get a whole lot of traffic to his site. Lately, I get sent information because, as you know, I talked about Benny and Steve, and now they've joined forces, as it were, basically because Benny's in a quest to get as much web traffic as possible, and Steve sees he can piggyback off that and probably gain some more traffic himself. So anyway, that's what all that's about. But I get a link to their recent conversation, and I watched most of it, which I won a medal for. Number one, Benny is continuing to keep the lie alive that Steve Kaufman is a linguist, keeps calling him a linguist. He's not a linguist. I won't go into all that, but I will say, all you sycophants and people who can't listen, Steve cannot in any way, shape, or form analyze any language. He also cannot gain any sort of job at a university as a linguist, and he cannot academically publish. That's all things a real linguist can do. So before you cult of the amateurs, which Vinny is a leading proponent of the cult of the amateur, and so is Steve, uh, don't try to denigrate professionals because you don't have the qualifications. Anyway, on to what Benny said. This is about one of the cult of the amateur things that Benny said. Benny said that the method does not matter. The methodology doesn't matter. Really, Benny? Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I'm going to shoot you to pieces here in a minute because you've got your head square up your ass, as they say in the military, because you don't know what the hell you're talking about. The method doesn't matter. Okay, let's take a little analogy. I know that you've not been in a gym. From the looks of you, you've probably never seen the insides of a gym or any sort of sporting endeavor. Anyway, Eastern Bloc countries, taking Bulgaria for example, was very successful in the past Olympics for producing strength, speed, explosive athletes. In fact, percentage-wise, they are outdoing everyone. They even outdid the Soviet Union, both of which were very powerful, and Poland also. They were all using basically the same what methodology. The methods were very important. The protocols that they used, how they achieved their results, was a very scientific, detailed, well planned, well thought out, sequential, scientific, and structured program. Now, the West, at the time, still now, best tactic was to get hold of the publications from the Eastern Bloc country and translate them and then try to implement them, but they weren't implementing them in a structured, scientific, sequential manner, so they didn't get the same results. Anyway, a small population size like Bulgaria should have never dominated as many strength uh, events as they did in the Olympics, which is the cream of the crop. Okay, the methods don't matter, right, Benny? Okay, number one, I know you don't know what athletics are, so you can't follow that, Benny, because you want to bring up your own little side tangents that don't have anything to do with the actual issue at hand. So methods don't matter. That's why governmental agencies, organizations, the military, and even people who have agendas like missionaries use a specific type of language learning because it's very structured, very scientific, very specific, and it produces results. The whole point is it's got to be qualifiable. You got to be able quantifiably also to know what's happening. In fact, in the military systems and for the diplomats, they know where they're at every hour of the day that they're doing the language learning. Those schools produce results. Not everybody can hack it. Not everybody can make it into those schools because there's so a lot of tests you have to take and move on. Now, there are a few civilian schools. They're nowhere near as hard because they can't be. They wouldn't get money from people because the normal people just won't go through that sort of ordeal and pay for it generally. So, Benny, the method doesn't matter. The method doesn't matter, Benny. Well, you know, we all know at this point in time that you're just a poser, the language things that you're doing. You overrate yourself. I'd like to see you take an FSI DLI test on the languages that you're doing now. I know you'll do well in Spanish and you would do well in French. and possibly German. But those are the languages that you studied for a long time, not your 3 months ordeal, not to cut down your 3 month thing at all, but just saying that you overrate yourself on your Mandarin. Now it's Arabic, and you're incensed and censor anybody who doesn't say that you're incredible and doesn't give you the sycophantic pat on the back that everyone in your little cyber group wants to do. The fan clubs you guys got going. It's not a community unless you guys know each other, hang around each other. Look up the anthropological, sociological definition of community, okay? So, Benny, so what this has to do with you, Benny, is you going around saying the method doesn't matter. It does matter, and I'll bet you all sorts of money that you won't find a bunch of people who have to produce results doing an ad hoc sort of mishmash like you're doing, or patting you on the back saying you use this method, you use that method, because Steve's method is, once again, is a left-brained reading approach, which is not even, he wants to try to babble about crash, and I'm not going to get on Steve too much here because it's a whole other video, but let's just say he does things out of order. You don't read before you speak, number one. Okay, so enough on that. I'll bring up some other points in future videos, but I just want to stay on you, Benny. The method doesn't matter. You're wrong. You get your head square up your ass. That's what to take away from this. Now I will reiterate what I say in every video. If you want to post on my videos, you got to have integrity and a spine, which means real name and a real photo. If you don't have those, you're not getting on here, and I'm just going to block you if you try to post something. That's it. So standards higher. Can't live in your anonymity. The cult of the amateur. Time to put down with that crap. Got it, Benny? Benny, and try to make it to the gym sometime in your lifetime.